Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and just real quick, we're not building anything today. We're just here to discuss something, and that something is something that's going around the internet. My friends just sent me this document, or part of a document, and I guess what this is going to mean is that OTS stores are going to start offering alternative formats. What those mean is, rather than just playing traditional advanced and their very convoluted version of doubles play, they're going to be adding at least 5 ways to play. And this is very cool. So what this reminds me of is the underground leagues I used to play in. And I'm seeing a couple of the things that are similar to what we had done. And just given a little more teeth. But again, some of them have issues, and I'd like to talk about that here real quick too. So give me a second to sip some water, and I'll get right to it. So the first one is probably my favorite of these formats. We'll zoom in here. So Time Wizard. Time Wizard is retro formats. Retro formats is scapegoat format. So you guys have played Goat format. You guys have played Reaper format. You guys know what Time Wizard is. They try to make it cute here. They said if Time Wizard travels back to the US Nats 05, then the April 05 Forbidden Limits would be in effect, with the last legal set being Dark Beginnings 2. And this may actually help those of you who play Goat format. If we see Goat format played and they let Xarian Universe in, because if they do, then you guys know that you guys could have always done that. And if they don't, then, well, I guess it settles it one way or the other, right? Heart of the Underdog is something that we sort of did. This is basically just straight up banning entire decks by kicking the archetypes. This is going to be good and bad. Right here, they're talking about how Drytron and Tri-Brigades are dominating at the time of this document's release, which I'm not, again, not terribly certain. It doesn't exactly come with a timestamp. But they do talk about those and how those are like what's mostly used. And so all it is eliminating an entire archetype from a tournament, which is fine. Where this gets tricky is like, once you start getting into lesser known archetypes, like for some reason Shiranui becomes top tier, that's going to hurt zombie decks, just in general. So anything that's used as part of like a combo piece in something else really gets hurt. So like Drytron will not be supporting itself or any other type of ritual build during a Heart of the Underdog format. Then there's literally my favorite Common Charity. This is what I'm going to be playing. And I will start building some decks for this here soon. Common Charity is literally just, you build your deck, but you can only use common cards. But for cards that could come common and non-common, I pulled a Jinzo aside earlier for this exact reason. So I got the original Tin Jinzo from like 04 or whatever. And we've got a common Legendary Duelists Jinzo. Even though they're both Jinzo, they have the same exact effect, and they are the same card for every intent and purpose. This card is illegal, and this card is legal. So you will always have to find the most common, literally common versions of anything in order to play them. And this is exciting, because what this is going to do for us is it's going to straight up ban certain cards. We're not going to see impermanence. You're not going to see cards like Apollosa and Boral Sword, IP Masquerena, or any of the Nightmares, because the lowest I've seen those so far is a regular rare. And yeah, like you just won't see these top tier cards. And then on occasion you're going to get some cards that like Monster Reborn. Like, it's always been rare and common at the same time, and that's fantastic. And it just is what it is, right? So this is the one that I'm going to be the most excited for. I do think that Ash Blossom might jump a little bit in price as soon as this is like officially announced, and like we start seeing this on their website. Effect Veilers should go up a little bit. Best 2 hand traps in most of Yu-Gi-Oh!, let alone Common Charity Yu-Gi-Oh! And then the one I have the most problems with is Deck Master. So like, just real quick, this is really cool. And we tried this in the underground, and we found out how bad this didn't work, so we had to quit. And it said, they say here, based on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime arc where Noah Kaiba brings Yugi and friends to the virtual world, each duel allows the duelists to select a deck master to help them in multiple ways. Duelists begin each match by selecting a monster to serve as a deck master. Now, in my head, this must mean it should count towards your deck limit, or it should be an extra card that doesn't count at all. I don't know if they're going to make it count against your rule of 3. So, like, if you're playing Monarchs for some reason, that's a terrible example, but, like, for the sake of argument, you choose Mobius, and then can you have 3 copies of Mobius in your deck? You wouldn't do this, but could you? Any effects the monster would apply as it were face up on the field are in effect. This is the most terrible portion of this. Duelists can normal summon the deck master to the field, ignoring any summoning requirements anytime they would be able to normal summon a monster. This must mean that no tributes... oh, sorry, it says it right there. No tributes are required for high level. No materials you needed for fusion, synchro, exes, and links. And if the deck master is destroyed, the duelist loses the game. So let's talk about that. This makes stupid cards go into the side deck. And I don't mean stupid like bad. Well, I do mean like bad. You're going to see people actually teching in Offerings to the Doomed. Quick play, destroy monster. You don't draw during your next turn. But it doesn't matter because it's a win condition now. Because as a quick play, you were able to flip it and just zap your opponent's Jinzo as soon as it stepped on the field. And again, Jinzo, he sounds like a great opportunity. And Jinzo was used in the series by, I think the character's name was Lecter, to good effect, but again, was able to play out of it. And in today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Traps are just not that important, especially traps on the field. So, like, Jinzo, he's just a really wasted opportunity. But again, like, this gets really bad, like, super quick. And I pulled some cards to make my point. And the fact is, they literally said you could use extra deck cards. It doesn't matter. So, let's start there. Okay, Jinzo, you're out of here. Or you could stay up there. It's fine. One card that immediately ruins the game forever will be Spell Canceller. It's exactly Jinzo. It's a star level lower. Spells and their effects on the field cannot be activated. Negate all spell effects on the field. This literally says that a player cannot play Yu-Gi-Oh! And the only way to beat a Spell Canceller player now is to be a Jinzo player because they are going to build their deck full of traps knowing that your spells are dead weight. So they're going to play like a 25-15 split between monsters and traps. They might even just play something like Lightsworn and just say, to heck with it. Okay, so Spell Canceller, first card that automatically destroys the game. Second card, let's talk about Vanity's Ruler. Again, we'll never have to move this card onto the field, just like the Spell Canceller, so we're not losing the game based on that, but what's going to say is, this card cannot be special summoned, which is fine. Additionally, your opponent cannot special summon monsters. So, unlike with Vanity's Fiend, which would be more fair since neither player could special summon monsters, we are literally saying just the opponent can't, and this is going to become a very common choice very quickly. Another good option, since they said the extra deck is totally usable, Last Warrior from Another Planet has 2 modes. First, we have the second sentence, destroy all other monsters, neither player can summon monsters. Neither player can summon. He doesn't even have to be boarded. You just play spells that burn. Because what's your opponent going to do? Additionally, if this is special summoned, destroy all monsters you control. Doesn't matter, guys. You can't summon monsters. So you're just going to use burn cards. And he's just going to sit there. And even if he did board himself, and even if he could, I don't know that he could board himself. I don't know if this would be like a rivalry of the Warlords Catch-22. Like, he could summon and use his first effect, but his second effect stops him from either player summoning, which means he can't be summoned, which means he can only make it so that we can't summon. So I'm not sure if this is like a total Catch-22 or if he's just immediate meta. And then you got things that are just like mid-range good, like the Unchained Abomination, which I actually used in this week's Karibo deck. And this has 3 different instances where if cards are being destroyed, we can go ahead and destroy more cards. So he gets like 3 breaks in a turn. You're going to get some weird niche I'm already playing the deck type things, so why not do it? So you're going to get deck masters like Gladiator Beast, Heraclinos. You're just going to be seeing some Gladiator player. They're never going to board him to the field. They're not going to have to worry about it. And they're just going to go, okay, I can discard a card from my hand, negate the activation of a spell and trap. And I can use this effect as a quick effect during both players' turns. The end. So they're just going to play like the oldest boss monster the deck has. And because that effect becomes even more relevant because it doesn't have to be boarded, they just freely play it and start in play with just having negates, which is crazy. You're also going to get to see some cool things happen, like the end of Anubis, which basically stops monster effects from happening or resolving, or cards targeting effects into the discard pile. You're going to see some cool things like Scarlet Red Dragon Arcfiend, which again sounds awesome. This sounds like a winning choice. But once per turn, you can destroy as many special summon effect monsters on the field as possible with attack less than or equal to this card. Other than this card, again, since he's going to be off the field, it doesn't matter. But every turn, I get to blow up everything on the field that was a special summon with 3,000 or less and burn you for 500 per. I don't exactly see how that is fair, and it's going to be real cutthroat. And then you're also going to get to see some crazy cool things that never were relevant, like Shura the Combat Star. Again, it took me a minute to find this guy. Take a good look at him. He's pretty cool looking. This was from Relentless Revenge or whatever, one of the Battle of Legends sets. Once per turn during the battle phase, as a quick effect, you can make the attack of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls 0. So again, you just win every battle phase. Once per battle, if a monster battles another monster during damage calculation, as a quick effect, you can make each battling monster gain attack equal to its own level times 200, remembering the opponents are all at 0, during the damage calculation only. And we don't need to worry about the rest, because the rest doesn't matter. So that's kind of cool. And then the next question, or like the biggest question here, if we're talking about Shura the Combat Star, and other cards that have weird effects where, okay, so if this is sent to the graveyard, you could special summon one Dot and the Conqueror from your extra deck. When you have an effect that transfers one card into another, is it going to behave like it did in the show? Is Dark Flared Knight actually going to be able to turn into the Crescent Knight? Or is it literally when the one card is taken out that it just, you know, happens? What happens if we use cards like the Dream Mirrors? Because I want to say you were able to swap between the two versions of Onieros. Or what if I fuse using my deck ruler? Does it count now as being the new card? And if it's a Gladiator Beast and I survive the battle and I send it into my extra deck, do I remove the weakness? Will it go back to the out-of-play zone? This is one that they're really going to have to work on. And it's one of the reasons we abandoned this format during the Underground plays. They do also give us like a small bite of what Rivalry Warlords could be. It says excited to announce a program that you want to participate in. Fun, easy way to introduce duelists to themes they may not have commonly played. If I was going to take a guess what the rest of the text for this would be, is since everything else basically has to do with a card type, Time Wizard dealing with time, so we went with time periods. Heart of the Underdog, supposed to be like things that are less powerful because effect monsters are more powerful than non-effect. Common Charity dealing with actual common cards. And Deckmaster having a card step outside of play and still effect. Then to me, Rivalry Warlords is either, here's a list of decks that we're going to allow in. So like you just say or like Elemental Hero, Destiny Hero. Or maybe you just say like Hero in general, like all the Hero decks. Gladiator Beasts, Cyber Dragons, and insert something else here. And then like any variation you want to play, but it has to include those decks as the theme. So like you could play a Hero Engine, but it needs to be like maybe more than 50% of your deck has to be dedicated to cards that are or support Hero cards. So I don't know. Personally, like I said, I'm the most excited for the Common Charity. That's the one I want to do. I'm already making a small collection towards it. I do want to feature some decks built for it. And me and a couple of my friends are already looking forward to playing that. We also have an additional play mode that I've been working on for, geez, it's been 8 months, I think. And it's a draft, but it's more than that. It's different, and we're still putting the cards and all the resources together. So it'll probably be summer before that happens here on the channel, but hopefully we can get that sped up just a little bit. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about, was all these, like, maybe they're going to be formats. I haven't seen anything except hearsay here, there, and everywhere. Somebody sent me that. They asked to remain anonymous. That's fine. Thank you for doing that if you're watching. And then, yeah, that's really it, guys. Come back later this week. We're going to have a tech analysis based on one of the cards that we used in our Karibo deck. And if I find something else fun to do before then, I'll see you with that as well. But for now, you guys go and have a good day. And I'm going to get out of here and get to work. You guys have a good one. Later.